Welcome to the Mind Myself podcast. I'm Esther, and it is my pleasure to be bringing you information about healthcare approaches, health issues, and people's health journey stories, all from the complementary, holistic, and integrative perspectives, helping you become your own best health advocate and helping you make your own informed choices because you matter. Welcome to Mind Myself Conversations with E. I'm Esther, or you can call me E, and it is my great pleasure to welcome Dr. Victoria Mondloch to our show today. Welcome, Dr. Vicky.
Thank you so much. So glad to be here.
Well, we're so glad to have you. I know that you've had a long and illustrious career, and I'd love to find a little bit more about that. What did you do in your life, and what are some of your credentials?
Well, I'm a board certified OB-GYN, but I morphed into a wellness doctor, and wellness means many things to many people. So wellness was something that allowed me to help patients take charge of their own health. It allowed them to partner with me so they could stay off of medication and out of the healthcare system, which is what everybody wants. Nobody wants to go to the doctor and hope that they get put on medication. They want to be free from that, but yet be as healthy as they can be.
Fantastic. What a great goal. Now, today we're going to be talking about a very interesting subject that I don't hear many people discussing. We're going to be talking about andropause or MANopause. Let's just dive right in. What is that?
Well, we've all heard menopause, and we know that's when a woman's ovaries stop working at approximately age 50. Menopause is something that is a relatively new term, or andropause, because it is actually something that testosterone and the production of testosterone in a male testicle never stops. What? Men continue to make testosterone even to age 100. Wow, really? But what men are never told is that there are age appropriate levels and that they may actually overly stress their testosterone levels to the point where at age 35, they may have the testosterone levels of an 80-year-old. And you go, well, wait a minute, how does that happen? Well, it can happen more easily than guys think, but they think testosterone is only about their performance in the bedroom or whether or not their muscles are strong enough and that they can sculpt that body of theirs. They don't realize testosterone is hugely important for short-term memory, for hair loss on top of their head, for worsening of reflux disease, for muscle pain, for joint pain, for deep fatigue coming home from work, sitting down on the couch and falling sound asleep, sleeping through dinner, not helping kids with their homework, and their wife getting angry with them because they're not participating in the household. So, guys, this is low T. And you'll go, well, wait a minute, but my doc won't even check my T levels. You have to ask, because what if your T levels are not age appropriate?
And so how do you begin that conversation with your doctor? What should you be looking for? You've talked about some of the symptoms just now, tired and hair loss and the things you just mentioned. What should you ask your doctor for?
Well, and this is what I empowered all of my guys to do was check your testosterone levels, both total and free testosterone. One is your reserve, one is your bioavailable. You pull the bioavailable from the reserve, and that's what your body uses. So they'll tell you it's not important. You have to insist on it, and you have to insist on getting both total and free testosterone levels checked. And then you need to know the importance of not just being in the reference range. That reference range can be good from puberty to age 100. But wait a minute, you're 35 and you need to know, do you have the testosterone of a 35-year-old, or do you really have the testosterone of an 80 or 100-year-old? That makes a big difference. Where are you on that curve? And there is a curve of where you should be.
And will most doctors, I'm in Canada, I know that you're in the United States, so are there different ways of interpreting those tests in those two different countries? I can't speak to other places in the world, but are there differences? And how do you ask that specific question?
Well, what you have to know is that medicine actually has a formula for where your testosterone should be for your age. In other words, what is the natural degradation of testosterone in your lifetime? And believe it or not, if you follow that formula will give you an actual graph that will show you for your age where your testosterone levels should be. And this curve is actually a gradual curve down, so that even at age 100, you are at 20th percentile for testosterone. But if you have 20th percentile levels and you're 35, that's not appropriate.
I see. And so please give me that chart as well. I know we have a hormone system chart that you have graciously given us, and we will make sure that we put that on the Mind Myself website too, so that anybody listening to or watching this can go find that and see where they are. That's fantastic. Okay, so there's that handy dandy chart. Where are you in the chart? And what are some other things that men can pay attention to? Like, there are some really dramatic things, but what are some more of the subtle things that men can be looking at in their bodies that say, oh, I better pay attention?
Well, again, the biggest thing that most guys come in with is poor sleep patterns. And they will tell you that they will go to bed at night and they'll sleep 12, 14, 16 hours. They'll wake up in the morning as exhausted as when they went to bed. That's a red flag. And most docs will only explore sleep apnea. Or are you having difficulty with getting enough oxygen exchange while you sleep? But actually, the more common issue is low T. Who knew? Right?
Yeah.
Right. So the other main takeaway I want to leave with guys is, if your job is stressful, and golly, whose job isn't stressful? Realize testosterone is one leg of your hormone wellness. That's your one leg of your chair, of your hormone chair. All four of your hormone groups have to be in balance, or it's going to put extra stress on your testosterone. So you have to know where your testosterone is, number one. You have to know where your thyroid is, number two. You have to know where your cortisol, your stress, is, number three. And you have to know where your insulin is, number four. Those four hormone groups must be in balance, or you're making your testosterone come to the rescue to help those other hormone groups get back into balance, and you might be over stressing your own T without even realizing it.
Well, I know you said earlier, Dr. Vicky, that your goal was to get people off medications and just get our whole systems in balance and work at the whole system level, not just a symptom. What do you recommend, as you said, okay, get your testosterone checked, both kinds. What's the next step for after you get the testosterone checked? What's next? Because you talked about those 4 legs. What do you do next?
Right. Well, you can easily go after trying to raise your testosterone level by taking over-the-counter DHEA. And DHEA is dehydroepiandrosterone. You don't have to remember that. DHEA, over-the-counter, and start taking that, and you will notice a boost of energy. That's to help your testosterone, okay? Over-the-counter. You don't need a doctor for that. Then realize that if you think it may be thyroid, that's something that you should check by blood work as well. Thyroid is supported by iodine and selenium, easily over-the-counter supplements that you can get a hold of. You can't overdose on either iodine or selenium. So support your thyroid. And if you're on a coast, you can increase your seafood. And that's coming from a wild source or from an ocean source. Those people that are stuck inland, like middle of Canada, middle of the US, we have no natural iodine in our water source. We have to import our seafood in. And so therefore, it may not be the same quality of iodine that we're getting in our seafood. So we may have to supplement as iodine as a supplement. If it's cortisol, you have to then support your adrenal and your stress by vitamin B complex, but methyl vitamin B complex. Hugely important to be methyl because methyl is a detox of tissues method in your body. So do a detox of your tissues in your body and support your adrenal in your excess stress with vitamin B complex. Insulin, that 4th hormone, is all about how you respond to your blood sugar. Now I'm going to tell you a dirty little secret. Insulin is a hormone. Who knew? Everybody focuses on blood sugar. And they're going to tell you the latest fad out there about how you should eat for your health. Well, 2 things about that. Number 1, the best and most important and easiest thing to do is never go more than 12 hours without eating. Simple. Why 12 hours? After 12 hours, if you don't eat something, your brain goes, feed me now. And so your body goes, oh, the boss needs sugar. Where are we going to get sugar for the boss? She's not eating. He's not eating. Where are we going to get sugar? Now, most people think it'll go to my fat stores and break down fat. Oh, no, no, no. Au contraire. It takes more energy for your body to break down fat than it takes to break down muscle. Oh, what? You will actually break muscle down. The glycogen stores in your muscle only take 4 kilocalories of energy to break down, but it takes 7 kilocalories of energy to break down fat. So guess what? You go to the gym to build muscle, you wait more than 12 hours to eat, you break that muscle down you just built. That's called a hamster wheel. And you're doing it over and over and over again. Build it up, break it down. Build it up, break it down. You go nowhere. You're spinning your wheels. So you must eat something balanced every 12 hours. Do not intermittent fast on a regular basis. I was
just going to ask you about that because this is a huge topic currently at the time of us recording this. There's so much information about intermittent fasting and that we should fast at least, 13 to 16 hours. And you're
Don't
saying
do it.
the opposite.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Now, once a week, if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. But realize you're going to break muscle down. Okay. You have to actually break all of the muscle glycogen stores down in your body before your body will start to burn fat. In some people, that can take weeks. And if you cheat anywhere in there, then you start your clock all over again. And who wants to waste time? We want results, but you want results that don't break down your muscle. So realize, and I would tell this to guys all the time, that there is a way to exercise, and this is men and women, the way to exercise maximally and to burn fat in 2.5 minutes when you exercise is a very specific type of bodybuilding and muscular strength training called super slow weight training. And that technique is tried and true. It is used to help people with injury regain stability. It is used as bodybuilding and sculpting. It is used to raise your metabolism. But most importantly, if you can exercise 6 areas of your body in a half an hour, you will burn fat in those 6 areas of your body in that half an hour period of time. Fastest way to burn fat, and you won't even break a sweat.
Well, we'll have to do either a blog post about that or another podcast, because that seems like a whole other discussion. So let's come back to the testosterone conversation for a moment. You use the term age-appropriate hormone levels for men, and you've talked about the age gap. So what is the impact of that? So we talk about the levels, but what is the actual health impact? Heart, digestion, skin, fertility?
It affects everything. Testosterone is something that you put through your body, guys, from head to toe. So it impacts the skin quality you have. It impacts how well muscles in your body work, your heart included. It impacts whether or not that muscle at the base of your esophagus stays strong and closed versus letting acid come up into your esophagus. It helps joint health. It actually helps how your liver works. If your T is too low, your liver is stressed and you'll be told you have a fatty liver, when in fact it's low T, and that's your liver's response to low T. You will have a blood pressure that starts creeping up because it impacts how well the muscles in your arteries control your blood pressure. So it affects absolutely every organ in your body. So putting testosterone back to where you should be for your age is giving you back your youth. What a concept.
And so we've talked about getting tested for testosterone and the other 4 areas, the 4 areas in total. If someone gets their testosterone checked and it is low, so what is a protocol? Obviously, anyone listening to this needs to talk to their own doctor about this and be in the journey. But just for the sake of discussion, you have to look at your testosterone. What else do you have to look at to balance in that journey?
Your thyroid, your cortisol, and your insulin. And your insulin is not a vacuum. You need to know your insulin in relation to your blood sugar and your A1C. So that set of 4 hormone groups all talk to each other. You must know where they are. But if your T is low, know that you can help yourself before you ever talk to your doctor by adding over-the-counter DHEA. It may be so low that you may have to actually have a testosterone replacement therapy done for you because you may have other of those 4 hormone groups off, and it's going to take time, and you don't want that time being a factor where you still feel 80 years old when you're 35. So know that you should be on top of where your T levels are as early as in your 20s. And know that if your levels are off, your doctor may not know as much as you know because they're going to look at it the way they're taught to look at it. This is the reference range, and you are in range. So there's nothing for me to do. Your insurance won't cover us replacing you because you're within normal range. But the difference is that it's not age appropriate.
Got it.
So I've seen guys come in from another doctor's blood work that if their testosterone level for their total T went 220 to 800 and they came in at 225, they were told your T is normal. I can't help you. Well, 225 is less than first percentile. That's a 100-year-old man. So my point about age appropriate is, do you want to be just in the reference range, just normal, or do you want to be optimal for your age? And by and large, every single guy I would ask that question, they would look at me like, well, of course I want to be optimal. That's where I belong. And that's what you have to tell your doctor is, I don't want to just be normal. I want to be optimal for my age.
Fantastic. Now, I know in Canada, I can't speak for the United States or elsewhere in the world, we're having trouble getting doctors. I personally don't have a medical doctor. I wish I did. I've been looking, and it's been close to 2 years now. And we have walk-in clinics that we can still go for an emergency. So if someone has a doctor, great, go start this conversation with your doctor and look at all of those different areas for sure when you're looking at your testosterone and aging and all of that. If you don't have a doctor and you're what do you recommend?
Well, know that you don't have to rely on your doctor for your blood work.
Okay.
What? Really? You can order your own blood work yourself. There are labs, and one in particular is called Life Extensions, which you can go online. You can order your own blood work. Now, that means you're paying for your blood work, but you already know what are the labs you want drawn. And you can start simply and just check your total and free testosterone, but know that that doesn't work in a vacuum. Okay. But you can order your own labs, and it's a subsidiary. Life Extensions is a subsidiary of LabCorp, which is a very large national lab, at least in the US. I believe they also have Canadian lab draw stations. But then you can take your receipt that you paid for your labs to a lab draw station. They will draw you because you've paid for them. And then they will ask you, where do you want these lab results sent? Well, you want them sent back to you because now you have control of wherever you want those labs to go. So you may find a doc elsewhere in a different, territory. You may find a doc in the States that says, I'll help you with your low T. You now have control of your labs that you can easily send to them. And now you are in charge of your healthcare journey.
Oh my goodness. We could talk for hours on this, and so fascinating. as we come to a close in this portion of our conversation, Dr. Vicki, what would you like to leave your listener with today?
Don't accept mediocrity. If you don't like how you feel, don't accept that that's your new reality. You don't accept when your car doesn't work and you have to figure out what's wrong. You take your car to the mechanic and you may figure out your oil light is on and therefore you need an oil change, or your tire pressure is low. We rely on our cars. Well, we rely on our body. And I'm sorry, preventive maintenance on our body is equally important as preventive maintenance on our car. So why can't we accept that we can take charge of our own health? Because nobody's told us we can, but we can and we should.
What a perfect way to end this conversation. Thank you, Dr. Vicki, for being here, for sharing your wisdom. And we do this because you matter. Thank you for being with us at the Mind Myself podcast today. We know that time is precious and you've spent some of your valuable time with us. We're grateful. If you would like to reach out to our guests directly, the information is below. And if you would like more from Mind Myself, that information is also below. Please visit our website and check out all the information about the different complementary, holistic, and integrative healthcare approaches, information about health issues, more podcasts, tons of blogs, and we even have a community page for you where you could reach out and tell your story safely, or you could ask questions and perhaps somebody else in the world is going through something similar to you. In any case, we're so glad you're with us, and we're doing this because you matter.